Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 718. I'm Salvatore Cassio, along with my co-host Charlie Crane, bringing you New York sports updates from real New York sports fans.
What's up, Sal? How you doing?
I'm doing well today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's actually a really nice day out today. It's beautiful, beautiful sunshine in Staten Island, New York, of course. All right, but the first thing we're going to talk about today is the NBA bubble. Obviously, the Nets are still in the playoff picture. What do you think is going to happen with their season?
Well, I see them with the whole standings and stuff like that. Like, I see them obviously making the playoffs, but I just think due to the concerns without KD and Kyrie, I just don't see them possibly like making a far run in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
No, I absolutely agree. I don't think there's honestly much to say about the Nets because like the team is not built to win now. I think it's just like I think it's a bonus to maybe just get playoff experience this year, but it's a different NBA season, so I don't want to write it off, but I can't see them getting out of the first round in the playoffs. I think they'll lose to any dominant team in the East. But NBA season starts tomorrow, so who would be your pick, NBA champion as of right now?
I gotta go with LeBron. Like, how do you not go with LeBron? Like, he's the GOAT. Like, what do you think?
I think it would be the Clippers. I was not always a believer in Kawhi Leonard, but after him with the Raptors last year, I am absolutely on the Kawhi bandwagon. And I do really like LeBron as a player, but I think the Clippers are a deeper team, and I think LeBron would struggle to get past them. But I'm excited to see what happens with that, and we'll definitely be talking about it in the future. So now, next thing we're going to talk about a little more in depth is MLB first week. Mets, what do you think?
Overall, 3-2 right now. Pretty happy. We should be 4-1 because of our bullpen. A thing that we've noticed a lot in the past few years, and it's coming back to haunt us with Edwin Diaz giving up a shot to Marcelo Ozuna in the ninth inning, costing us the
Yeah.
game, going into extra innings, and then losing. It's been really difficult. How about you?
Yankees 2-1. I'm obviously disappointed that our series against the Phillies has been postponed, but I saw a lot of positives. I think we played two good baseball games. I think we played one really bad one, but the Nationals are a good team, and overall, I was really impressed with how we came back in the third game of the series because I think we showed fight to fight ourselves back into the game. So I was really impressed with that. But talk about more about the Mets rotation. The Mets pitching was, from what the consensus from all the Mets fans I know, the Mets pitching was the glaring error. What would you do if you're in charge of the Mets right now?
It's just the performance I saw from Rick Porcello when we lost 14-1 against the Braves. It was horrendous. And mind you, it's his first start, so you don't know what's going to happen. But I just think with the loss of Syndergaard and now Stroman out with the calf injury, he'll be back soon. But I don't know. I'd say maybe even bring Lugo into the rotation. I know he's a good long reliever. The Mets really need that type of guy. It really solidifies the bullpen. But I think our much more pressing issue right now is our
Hmm.
rotation. We just have major flaws. I liked what I saw out of Matz. I loved what I saw out of DeGrom. And it's just Porcello. It's just, I don't know. David Peterson also had a great start, and I have to give him credit for coming up. But I would say for now, potentially give Lugo a few starts, and I think that would help us a lot. What were your pressing concerns about the Yankees?
About the Yankees, I mean, I agree that like in the same way Rick Porcello, James Paxton, that was probably the worst start I've ever seen him throw as a Yankee. He struggled to get like any outs. He couldn't put hitters away, and he didn't have the excuse of it being his first start. He's been here for a year, and that was honestly horrendous. And at that game, a lot of things went wrong. I think we loaded the bases in the fourth inning with one out and couldn't bring a run home. I think we didn't benefit from any timely hitting that game. But that like I'm complaining about one game. There have been three games in the season. Like I don't have any like overall pressing concerns really. I think the bullpen is still strong. We obviously miss Chapman, but I hope to get him back by if there is a playoffs. I hope he'll be there. But
Yeah,
overall, I'm not really worried. But
yeah. I had watched that game where Paxton was pitching, and he just couldn't get any of his pitches down. Really, like it was.
no, because Paxton is a pitcher that is really reliant on his slider, and
Yeah,
he bases all of his other pitches off the hitters looking for the slider, and he couldn't hit the strike zone with the slider, so his whole game falls apart, and that's definitely a weakness of his. He needs if the slider isn't going one day, he needs to be able to pitch. He needs other pitches because we're getting into the clutch time of the season, and he's with Severino out. He's our number 2 starter. He can't have days like that. He really can't.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. Keep going. Keep going.
I was saying, but honestly, with Garrett, I was very impressed with Garrett Cole's first start. I think it took him an inning to get into it, but I can't really ask for anything more than technically a complete game, one hit first outing. I have absolutely no complaints, and I don't know if you saw his post game interview, but at least coming as a Yankee fan, I think he said all the right things. He was enthusiastic about being on the team. He said the kind of things that I want to hear from our ace. I was also impressed with Aaron Judge's hitting. He was putting his bat on the ball. I know that sounds stupid, but he's struggled a lot from he either hits a home run or a strikeout, and he was putting the ball in play a lot more. And then Carlos Stanton lost 15 pounds. We were promised that he'd be more durable. I think he looked his sharpest, honestly, since he has in 3 years. So I'm excited to see if he can keep that up for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But overall, genuinely positive. I know, like you said, you watched at least one game. Did you have anything to say? What you thought?
Well, from Garrett Cole, obviously, yeah, he had a shaky first inning. Had a tough time finding the strike zone. Had like 30 pitches after 2 innings. Not bad, but overall, great performance. Thankfully, he got the win for you guys. And obviously, Jacob DeGrom got a no decision, just like usual.
Jacob DeGrom. No, he pitched excellent. I watched that game. He was dominant. I didn't think you should have taken him out, but that's
Yeah,
my opinion.
I understand the decision from Rojas after 70 pitches, not really wanting to put the strain on him. But overall, I'm glad that we won that game at least. Cespedes came up clutch with a nice home run, which was very helpful.
I know you mentioned Edwin Diaz earlier. Do you think he has a future as the Mets closer, or is he?
I still don't know. I don't want to really jump the gun and say that, oh, he should be out. But at the same time, I also said he would have a bounce back here. And I still believe, and like, he looked good his first game. But that second game, like, it's unexcusable. It's
No,
unexcusable.
I saw a stat that said Edwin Diaz has never gotten back-to-back saves as a Met.
Yeah, that's
So I feel like that is the story of Edwin Diaz. Like he throws a good game, and everyone thinks that, like, oh, he's back, and then he has another stinker. So I
yeah.
don't know. Like, is there any other candidate in the Mets bullpen that you think could fill that spot?
Uh, Honestly, I mean, many Mets fans would like to say Betances, but I think he's the setup guy.
That's what I think.
I would like to give Familia a shot at closer again. He's been with us for a while. Just got a nice contract on a 1 year deal right now, I think. And like I feel like he's solid too. And like the Mets bullpen, like I said, has improved tremendously from last year. But I think if Edwin Diaz is going to be holding us back, there's no sense in us trying to wait for him to find his rhythm in such a 60-game season. You know what I mean?
hmm No, I think I agree with you. I think Betances does his best work as a setup man. I think his best work for the Yankees was in that eighth inning, and in that seventh, eighth inning slot. I think that's where Girardi preferred him, and he was definitely Girardi's most trusted reliever. But a little more broad on baseball. I'm sure everyone's seen the Marlins have 16 positive cases, players and staff, and Phillies Yankee series got canceled, Marlins series got canceled. Do you think this has bigger implications for baseball?
I don't know. I hope not. And I kind of wish, as we were talking about the NBA before, I wish the MLB was sort of in a similar situation with like the whole bubble thing, because it's too risky for players to just be reporting back to their homes and stuff like that. Like I think they should be in an enclosed space if they're truly dedicated to playing the sport around the clock.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that at a country and like the league at the scale that like the United States has, like I think it's too big. I think it's too big for everyone to play at home. I think the only successful way, honestly, for any sport to come back in the foreseeable future will be in the bubble. And I'm worried about the MLB. I am. I'm not sure. I'm not sure we'll finish. Maybe like because I don't think they have the time to switch to a bubble format. I think they're going to stick with this, and I'm worried that if it happens to a few more teams, then it's done.
Yeah, well, I like you said, the Phillies are being postponed right now. Like don't aren't the Yankees being postponed right now?
Yeah, no, the Yankees, like it was a 4-game series against the Phillies, and that's all done. I think we're not going to play again until Saturday.
Yeah,
So
it's really frustrating to see this happen to a group of ball players and how it affects literally everyone else because of the whole virus. It's really unfortunate.
no, I also think the unfortunate thing is that like the MLB players were so opposed to the bubble. Like the MLB players act like they'll like, just like tell us when and where to play and we'll be there. But like they wanted to be at home. They wanted to be in their home stadiums. And I feel like that's gonna come back to bite them. I feel like I just wish that yeah, I wish it had gone differently. Obviously I hope it finishes. I was very excited for it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It might not work out.
I hope so too. And just with like the impromptu like season coming together where the MLBPA and the owners association didn't even reach an agreement and they just decided to throw a season together like
Hmm.
at the last minute. Like I think that's really showing like how illy prepared they were for like an event like this to happen. And I mean, I really thought they would have been more prepared and I'm kind of surprised that they're not playing in a bubble. You know what I mean? Like
No, I think they should be, and I think that baseball should have been back July 4th weekend. I think that would have been the perfect time. I think players are ready. I think fans are ready. It's the great American pastime. Playing then, I think it would have made so much sense, and I feel like they wasted their time. And
yeah.
now that things like things are kind of going wrong. They're not going as planned. I don't know if they have the time to recover or like the contingency plans to recover.
I think baseball can arguably lose a lot of support over the next few years. They really had their opportunity when during the whole lockdown to get a season planned underway, and like it would be the only sport that was going on. Like I feel like so many more people would have tuned into it from their houses and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
It's just I don't know. It's just a shame. I wish the MLB Owners Association did a better job with scheduling this season.
No, I agree. I feel like baseball is already losing TV ratings, and I don't think that they can afford. I don't think they can afford things like that. They had the big cheating scandal last year. Then the league can't get it together and get a season together when they would have been the only sport on TV, and the ratings would have never been better. And I don't know. I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot when they really can't afford to.
Yeah.
But
So in other news, going to the NFL, Jamal Adams was traded to the Seattle Seahawks. Jamal Adams in a fourth rounder was traded for two first rounders, a third rounder, and safety Bradley McDougald. So, what are your
I
thoughts?
mean, I think it's a good trade for both. I think it does benefit both because I think the Seahawks are built to win around Russell Wilson right now because
Yeah,
I think that the future of Russell Wilson I don't think it's set in stone in Seattle. So I think they want to win as many games as they can with him here. And I do like what the Seahawks are building. I think if they can bring in I think if they can bring in a pass rusher and maybe someone else on the offensive line, I can actually see them making a deep playoff run. So I think this is a good I think it's a good deal for them, but I can't deny that like the Jets get a real package here. And
yeah,
and from what I've heard, the safety that you guys got in return is actually pretty solid, and he'll probably fill a spot. So
yeah.
I think you could definitely make the arguments for the Jets to win. But I'm curious what you think.
I think. Well, I like what you said. I think Pete Carroll and the Seahawks are in like an all in kind of shove right now to get Russell Wilson a solid team, a solid team that he gets to play around like right now. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
they're in it now. I think with the Jets move, unfortunately, I really like Jamal Adams and like I'm sad he had to go, but I think the price that the Seahawks paid for him was well worth it for him to leave. And for argument's sake, who do you think won the trade?
I think the Seahawks win the trade because at least in my opinion, like you know, look, the Jets can have a lot of picks, but there's no telling what they'll do with them.
That's
I
true.
mean, I think like having picks is great, but it's about drafting well. And I don't know. I think the Jets have been guilty of not doing that in the past. Obviously they have they're under new general management. They have time to turn that around. But I think that I think that assembling talent, like proven talent, is always the way to go in the NFL. I think quality wins in the NFL more than potential. So I think the Seahawks win this trade. What do you think?
I mean, as a Jets fan, I like what the Jets did, and I really respect what Joe Douglas did. He got a really good price for Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams had no interest being here. It's just it wasn't worth it for the Jets, and it wasn't worth it for Jamal Adams to stay here. So I think having 4 first-round picks in 2 years. That's going to really help us. We're going to have a nice young core, and obviously, I don't think for a while we'll be as good as we were in the early 2010s and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think the Jets won just because of how much they paid, how much the Seahawks paid.
No, I do agree that he got an incredible price for a player that was so vocal about his not wanting to be on the team. Because at least I thought the teams other than the Jets would have more leverage because Jamal Adams likely was not going to play this year. He would sit on the bench before he got in a Jets uniform again. So I'm surprised that the Seahawks couldn't get more out of that. But I guess they thought he was worth that, and they think he can improve their team, and they're willing to pay the price. So
Well,
I could see it going both ways.
what happened was I heard that the 49ers were trying to jump the bid with Jamal Adams and try and overtake the Seahawks. So that's why the Seahawks got kind of pushed in to give up that second first rounder, which I think is worth it for them. Jamal Adams is a stud. Like no getting.
No, he is. I think he walks in the lineup and improves them week one, and I think that's what they were looking for.
I just don't think the Jets need that toxicity in the locker room anymore. Like it's like for some guy that just speaks too much, it's just I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, I think that's it for this week's episode.
Yep.
You can follow us on 718 Talk Show on Instagram, and all of our other pages are linked in there.
Yeah.
Nice talking to you. All right, we'll see you next week.
See you next week on the 718.